North Carolina Republican Senator Tom Tillis on Tucker Carlson, this was last night, bashing President Trump's border wall. Watch this.
I oppose putting a 30-foot structure on the top of a 3,000-foot sheer cliff. What sense would it make to take down a structure that's working and replace it with something that the people on the ground think wouldn't? I don't know if it's the most productive use of the money that we're going to have.
Now, that is a Republican from North Carolina who says, I don't want that wall. Come on in, please, Republican Congressman Steve King. You know, I got to say yet again, sir, that the Republican Party is totally divided, even on the issue of the wall. I find that remarkable.
Well, and Stuart, I listened to that interview last night, and as I listened to it, it just sounded like it was a rambling of doublespeak. I mean, we don't want to put a wall on the top of a 3,000-foot sheer cliff. I've traveled every mile of that border. I don't remember a single 3,000-foot sheer cliff right on the border.
Yeah, but you know what I'm getting at.
Sounds to me like a made-up metaphor.
But you know what I'm getting at. I mean, the Republican Party was not united on health care. There's probably some serious divisions on tax reform, and even the border wall, which I thought was bedrock Republican policy right from the top down. You're not united on that either.
You know, Stuart, you are right, and I recall a speech I made to our Republican conference early in January of this year, and I said, we've got a strong consensus here. We're going to have to let go of the details and move. Let's get these things done. Let's not be fighting over minutiae any longer. Let's get this done. And instead, much of this momentum of the first 100 days has been squandered with the delays, people holding out for their fringe things that they want. I want the clearest principle we can get. But I want to move when we've got the chance to move. And this is an historic opportunity, and it's being diminished, and it's disappearing from us if we don't do something to put this momentum back together.
Okay, talk about lack of momentum or loss of momentum. How about the sanctuary cities blockage by a court? Again, you're shaking your head, but this is another roadblock towards progress on what the president wants to do. By the way, the president is tweeting this. First, the Ninth Circuit rules against the ban, and now it hits again on sanctuary cities. Both ridiculous rulings. See you in the Supreme Court. But it's another roadblock to that momentum that you're talking about, Congressman.
And Stuart, I want to go on record here on your program. I would vote today to abolish the Ninth Circuit. The Ninth Circuit has so scrambled our Constitution. They need to be abolished and everybody laid off and start all over fresh with all those new folks keeping in mind the lesson that they might learn from this. But what does the president do at this point? I mean, he's been denied the constitutional and statutory authority to protect the United States with his refugee executive orders. Congress granted that specific authority to the president. This is an affront to Congress, an Article I and an affront to Article II that comes out of the Ninth Circuit. And so if I were the president, I would be putting together a strategy of this. All right, you all played this game of shutting the government down in 2013, and Republicans wrung their hands over this. The president may have to put together a strategy that says, you know, if this government's going to run, I'm going to get what I want, and we're going to see who blinks. You
know, there was a poll recently which showed that if the election were held again today, President Trump, or Donald Trump, would beat Hillary Clinton 43-40. I think that poll suggests that the blame for this lack of momentum that you're talking about is not resting with President Trump. It's going to the Republican Party. I think you're agreeing with that.
I am agreeing. I don't know about the 17% that abstained from that poll, but I think that because Congress hasn't moved, and we clearly have the majority, especially in the House, we're not tied up by anything other than getting a majority of votes here in the House. The Senate has some considerations on their filibuster rules, which they could waive tomorrow if they chose to do that, and I'm thinking they should do that. But we have not been bold. We've not moved confidently. We should have gone first day, repealed Obamacare, every word of it, with a delayed enactment, so we've got time to do some reform along the way, and then moved on with the tax reform. We could put those pieces together that we need to on health care, sell insurance across state lines, a number of others, 6 or 7 or 8 others, and send that over to the Senate. And then the Senate could contemplate, do we want to do this with 51 votes, or do we want to let Chuck Schumer dictate the policy in the United States of America?
Okay. Sounds like you live in hope, as do the rest of us. Congressman Stephen King.
Ready for battle.
Yeah, ready for battle. Good one. Congressman King, thanks for joining us, sir.